I'm Corbett Wall with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Wednesday, May the 28th, brought to you in part by ProBack by Bimeda. ProBack is proudly manufactured here in the United States. This year, set your calves up for better success by strengthening your vaccine protocol with ProBack vaccines. For more information, go to BimedaBiologicals.com. Fake news, and we heard about it pretty early on Tuesday there, kind of going into the week this week after the Monday holiday, uncertain and looking for some direction in the board. And we come out with this report, or it looked like a press release from the USDA. And the website that I received it on was out of KTTN, a radio station website, basically a tradio swap meet out of Trenton, Missouri. Now, I didn't realize that at the time. I had to go back and look, but that's where I received it, and I don't know if they shared it or that's where it originally come from. But I saw a USDA, what looked like a USDA press release. It didn't look just like that, but it was close enough. And it said that the screwworm had been found in the state of Missouri. Now, I don't believe in any shape or form it was from the USDA. And I don't believe it was a mistake that somebody put out. I think somebody did it maliciously, and I think it needs to be getting to the bottom of. But it was totally bullshit. Totally bullshit. And it took that board down hard now. You know, it wasn't an accident. Somebody did this now. Took the futures, and the futures, that's how vulnerable they are and how sensitive they are to all this news. It took the board down. A lot of your feeder future months, or all of them, were down way over $4 on a day when we thought we were going to be moderately supported. Maybe a little higher, and you know it was terrible. It went down that hard. Now once the news come out that it was a fake news, that it was somebody had sent that out, and it didn't have any truth to it at all. USDA even sent something out, said it was nothing, and the board did come back some, but not all. Still, your live cattle futures were down $1 to $1.50 for the most part, and your feeders were down $2 to $2 plus, $2 to $2.25. We didn't deserve that. I know of several people that I had talked to that lose six figures of dollars of money on Tuesday with this plunge. It caused them to make moves that they normally wouldn't have made. You know, it ain't right. This shit ain't right. And trade associations, here's your chance to do something. This is why you exist. I know everybody gets all dressed up and you go and you have your meetings once a year and you do your little, you know, board meetings and things like that. But this is why you exist, to speak out for the cattleman. Okay, so I can't wait. NCBA, TSCRA, Farm Bureau. Let's go. Let's do something. You guys got some pull here. Let's see something. Even U.S. Cattlemen's Association, RCAF. All of you should get together and demand an investigation by the CME. Demand an investigation. See who did that. I guess it'll have to be CME that would do it. See who the hell did that, and see what they stand to gain. If it was just somebody that threw this deal together and they were short the board, there's not a more rotten trick in the world than that. Now, we've heard of different deals like that over the years that we rumored, but we didn't know for sure were right, you know, about an outbreak of this or that, and somebody saw something, but this deal was rotten. You know, and I can't explain to you how unfair it was. These guys are sitting here playing in the board. We had several producers that were long the board and have been for a while, supporting it and helping this big rally. And then this deal come along, you know, and it trips, you know, sales stops and things like that. It's just rotten, and something needs to be done about it. Now everybody can say, well, who's to say the board wouldn't have gone down that much anyway? It wasn't going to go down. This rumor was all of the reason why the board plunged, and everybody will say, oh, there's nothing we can do about it. The hell is not. You know, how can you offer this deal up for trade and then just let it be that vulnerable to any kind of news that comes out? And then when it does come out, nobody even looks into what's happened. You know, there's some stuff in the national news that goes behind that too. You know, the cover up on Biden's health conditions. Who's going to do something about it? Somebody has to pay. Somebody has to spend time in jail, and I think it should happen right here. I mean, you know, and maybe this little hiccup here is just priming the pump, and it's just what the board needed to go to wreck. But it didn't. We come back some, and then went back down a little bit more. You know, and I can't tell you how unfair it is, and it's a rotten deal. And whoever done it, if we could figure out who did it, and it looks like they mocked this thing, this press release, I tell you, I would like to have their name advertised in every sale barn in the country, and every commodity office in the country, every feedlot in the country, and then watch them some bitches run scared. Because I tell you what, there's some people out there that's mad about this deal. It ain't right. And I fear that nothing's going to be done about it. But I said it right there. All you trade associations, here's your chance to do something. Just look at that board on June live cattle. It was down 67 cents at 215.12. August was down $1.15 at 209.30. Your back months were down 102 to down 152. August feeder cattle down 222 at 298.10. September feeder cattle down 210 at 297 and a quarter. Your back months were down 102 to $2. All that, there was no reason for any of that. And I realize sometimes the board goes down for no reason, but this was the reason that it went down on Tuesday, and it wasn't right. July corn unchanged, 459 and a half. July beans up 2 1/4 cents a bushel at 1062 and a half. Hard red winter wheat for July down 14 and a half cents at 524 and a half. Now your weighted average on last week's, we're still catching up from last week because we had the Monday holiday and we're so late getting these USDA reports out, the ones that are real. But your weighted average on last week's negotiated fat cattle trade, we only sold 46,400 head compared to 69,800 the week before and 56,500 the same week a year ago. Live steers and heifers sold from 217 to 231. That was steady to a buck lower. Your weighted average was 226.97, up 52 cents. Notice it wasn't up near as much as it was when I gave it to you on the last report, because we did see a little bit more trade in Texas and Kansas, which sucked it down a little bit. Your dress sales 354 to 370. That's $4 to $8 higher. Your dress to weighted average on steers 361.74, up 407. As a general rule, your market in the Southern Plains was unevenly steady from 219 to 221. Northern Plains traded at a full $10 premium to the Southern Plain. The exact same fat steer heifer sitting in Kansas or in Texas Panhandle is worth $10 a hundred And there's a bunch of hundreds. There's about 15 or 16 hundreds of them, as they make them so big, less than the northern plains. That's really ridiculous. 1 to 2 higher in the northern plains, 229 to 231, and 2 to 9 higher dress from 360 to 367. Nationwide, we sold 55,500. Of those, 15,900 were for the 2 to 4 week delivery, or 29% of them. They've been buying several of those. They may have taken a lot of them earlier though. But there was 81,700 last week, or the week before that, and 67,900 the same week a year ago. Negotiated grid sales totaled 43,000 last week. Forward contracts only 11,500, and formula sales 264,200. Now, we did have a straight up, fair, transparent market finder on Tuesday. It was your Stockman's livestock market in Yankton, South Dakota. 900 fat cattle in overnight, 1,700 for the fed cattle auction on Tuesday. This will be this week's market now. Conventional fed cattle sold 221 to 229, about a buck lower straight through. Program cattle 226 to 235.50. That would be in 2 lower to 3 higher. Uneven trend there. We did have a few sales in Iowa selling at 230. So I don't think this thing's going to fall out of bed with your cash market, but a lot of people lost a lot of money for no reason right there. Box beef cutout values mixed. Choice cuts up 30 cents at 361.85, and selects down 49 at 350.83. Your slaughter didn't have anything on Monday. On Tuesday, 116,000. You can't compare it with a week ago because it wasn't holiday week a week ago. But a year ago it was a holiday week and they had 126,000. So that's 10,000 less. Talk about what else is going on. Performance livestock analytics. On performance beef, on top of everything that all of the factors that we've talked about with performance beef and all the pluses and all the features in it, it's software, guys. Performance livestock analytics is also focused on customer success. You can talk to any agent 365 days. Call them up and talk to a person 365 days. And that means something to me because I came home and found out the lightning strike had smoked my router, and I'm going to have to wait 3 days to have my internet fixed here. I'm going to be living in the Stone Age here in Canyon, Texas. But you can talk to somebody at Performance Livestock Analytics 365 days a year, and they're always, in the mindset to bring along new products and introducing new products all the time, advancements on this software that they're already offering. But for more information on Performance Livestock Analytics, go to performancelivestockanalytics.com. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market, brought to you by Specialty Risk Insurance, working to protect your livelihood. Your real-time index late on Tuesday sitting at 297.44, down 142. How much of that was the fault of this fake news? It's hard telling, but somebody ought to pay something. So somebody needs to go to jail, be publicly beaten, or something like that. But it was just not right. Tell you what. But your latest CME cash feeder cattle index 296.09. Let's talk about your sales on Tuesday. Biggest sale we had on Tuesday was Beaver County Stockyards, of course. 4,700 head there. Steers were mostly higher. Heifers were uneven. Didn't have a USDA report out pretty late on Tuesday, so I'm not sure about that. But that was your NationalBeefWire stickout sale of the day. Had 231 7-weight steers, average 746 at 313.15. 752 head of 8-weight steers, averaged 857. 293.39, and 637 head of 9-weight steers averaged 282.31. They had a lot of 10-weight steers. Several years ago when we set up these automated market reports, we didn't think there was much need for 10-weight category on the automated market report. Guess we're going to have to add one now, but they had a lot of 10-weight steers, and one of them was one of our outstanding quotes. I'll give you in a second. But the heifers, the only weight group really tested at Beaver was 547 head of 8-weight heifers, averaged 836 at 271.39. Your individual quotes from all over. Kingsville Livestock Auction had 111 steers, weighed 909 at 295. Big time quote. Here's that quote from Beaver on the 10 weights. 73 head of them, weighed 1010 at 280.75, but they had several hundred in the 10 to 100 to 1100 category. Another quote was out of Welch Stockyards in Welch, Oklahoma. Not sure if I've ever talked about them before. They had 61 steers, weighed 687, bring 326.50. Thought that was pretty good. Didn't have a lot of quotes on Tuesday, so that was a good one to stick out. But man, we had one for the top quote for the day. Tell you what, Unionville did it again. Unionville Livestock Market, Unionville, Missouri, was your Macrocin, no BS, top quote for the day. The Rockin' R outfit out of Lucerne, Missouri, Smokin' R as they're known. They had 7 loads in Unionville on Tuesday. The loads weighed from 887 to 903. 7 loads averaged 894 with an average price of 297.14. That's your feeder flash for Wednesday.